Alright guys, 2020 has been a pretty messed up year, and today I just thought I could give a recap. If some of you are sensitive to any of these topics, just go ahead and click off the video. I'm going to be talking about George Floyd, the Kobe Bryant death, and all that stuff. So if you guys don't like any of that, please click off the video. You've been warned, and enjoy. January. Our president gets impeached. I don't know why they call it impeachment. Sounds like he got thrown into a giant peach or something. Seriously speaking, this has only happened in this country 3 times. The first 2, I wasn't around. This time I was, but man, it's so hard to learn anything about anything that has to do with Trump, because half of the people hate him, so you really can't trust them. And the other half voted for him, so you really can't trust them either. One thing I do know is it was a bunch of noise, and at the end, nothing happened. You could say that this COVID pandemic stuff, I guess, showed up in January, but I don't think anyone really knew what it was. I think most people thought it was like SARS that mainly impacted Asian countries, and boy, we were wrong. But the worst day in January was the day we all learned that NBA superstar Kobe Bryant and his daughter died in a helicopter crash. He was only 41 and his daughter was only 13. She would have turned 14 on May 1st. January 26th, this was a Sunday. I remember hearing about it right after church. I was in shock. I guess when you're my age, you don't really think about death. And people like Kobe Bryant just don't die, right? Wrong. Kinda makes you think. Sometimes we act like we're gonna live forever, but the truth is, we don't really know how many years we're gonna live on this planet. February. Things amped up in February. The virus became more real as more deaths started happening in the US. We met Dr. Fauci. I saw an interview the other day and he says he wants to be played by Brad Pitt. So then Brad Pitt shows up on Saturday Night Live pretending to be Dr. Fauci. That was pretty cool. I don't really watch SNL, but I saw the clip on YouTube and thought that it was really cool. Of course, how can we not talk about Super Bowl 54 and the great showdown between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. At halftime, they were tied at 10 and neither team seemed to be an obvious winner. But then the 49ers cranked up the heat and entered the fourth quarter with a 20-10 lead. But then came the Chiefs, and with barely 6 minutes left in the game, they completed 2 touchdowns, taking the lead right around the 2-minute warning. The Chiefs stopped the 49ers on defense. Damian Williams rushed a touchdown and Kendall Fuller intercepted. All those things combined, the Chiefs end with the Lombardi Trophy after 50 years. Think about it. Persistence. March. And March was the beginning of the big mess called online school. I don't know about you guys, but this online school kicked my butt. I think I overestimated my ability to stay focused. I never stopped to realize that going to school and using the computer where I go to play video games was going to be so hard. I kept procrastinating, and by the time it was to the last 3 weeks, I was so behind. I felt pretty overwhelmed too. It wasn't only schools that opened in March, or closed in March, sorry. Restaurants, movie theaters, and the worst of the worst, Disney. Guys, I've literally waited so long to be able to go to Disney, and just a few days before our second trip there, with tickets and fast passes, boom, closed. I was so frustrated. And then from that moment on, we couldn't even go outside. March also marked the start of serious public cases of murder of people of color. On March 13th, Breonna Taylor, a medical first responder, was shot after taking 8 bullets from police dressed in civilian clothing. They failed to identify themselves as the police. When Breonna's boyfriend saw them, since they were not in uniforms and did not yell police, he shot thinking he was defending their home from intruders. At that, the police shot 22 times. Breonna sadly died of her shotgun wounds. April. We thought we were going to go back to school in April, but things got worse and more people started dying, especially in New York. My mother and I pranked my dad and told him that school was opening and that my sister and I had to go back to school. And my dad was like, "Are you kidding me?" And of course we were. It was April Fool's Day. Haha. My mom kept working from home and my sister and I couldn't go anywhere. My dad works nursing and commercial cleaning, so he was the only one leaving the house for work. Things in New York and the rest of the country looked pretty bad. More doctors, more politicians. talking. People started going out of their way to recognize and thank first responders. Everyone got a lot more serious about staying inside using masks and stuff. My mom's birthday was on the 19th, so at least we could order Denny's, and we ate in our living room and watched a movie together. My mom always asks for love letters for her birthday, so she got letters from me, my dad, and my sister. She was really happy. Another important day in April was Easter. We have been doing church from YouTube Live. We had a great service. May. In May, it was very clear to everyone that we weren't going to school. That's when things got crazy and we tried to rush and complete all our assignments. I admit it, I got lazy, but in the end, we did it. On May 9th, a video surfaced that would really start upsetting the tide in this country about race issues. The video of a dad and a son going after an African American runner and killing him surfaced. This had happened back in February, but in May, no arrest had yet been made. Then out came this video, and when people saw it, all hell broke loose. People started demanding something be done about this, and the father and the son ended up in jail and charged. They were chasing a man that was curious about a construction and that was jogging around, and just like that, for whatever reason, they decided to shoot him. In May, they were told that their behavior was clearly criminal. As people were still angry at the Ahmaud Arvery murder, in comes the case of George Floyd. George Floyd is an American citizen. He is African American. He was purchasing something and someone on the store thought that he could be trying to pass a false dollar bill. A store clerk called the police as was required. These 4 policemen proceeded to subdue Mr. George, who at least in the video presents no serious threat to the officers. After handcuffing him, one of the policemen, Chauvin, places George on the floor, face down, and places his knee on his neck. Mr. Floyd starts begging, stating that he can't breathe. People around them start telling the policeman that George is not well. Mr. Chauvin resists to take his knee off. For 8 minutes and 45 seconds, he keeps a handcuffed Mr. Floyd to the floor using his knee on his neck. Even after Mr. Floyd is dead, Nick Chauvin keeps applying pressure, but they were being recorded. And if people were angry about the prior 2 cases, this one was the last drop. As soon as this video hits the streets, a wave of protests all over the United States had started. I feel that these protests are necessary to let the government and other people know that it is not okay to treat anyone the way Mr. Floyd was. The sad thing is that people are taking advantage of the situation to loot stores, destroy others' properties, hurt, and even kill. Many policemen are out of control, but many of these protests are out of control. My sister and my mom were even gonna go to a protest peacefully, but then my sister got scared because, as you guys know, my mom is brown. We are sure that there are many more good cops than bad cops, but how can you even tell? We don't want to take the chance to go to a march and for us to have our mom hurt or even worse. So I guess this is the best way I can protest, through my YouTube channel. June has just started and the demonstrations continue. Some peaceful, some violent. As a kid, it's hard not to worry sometimes. I wish all could go back to normal and that I could just go out. But I think of all the lives that have been destroyed in the last months, and I realize I have nothing to complain about. Let's hope that this year gets better. In the meantime, please remember, God made us all, and He makes no trash. So let's not treat one another like trash. Let's remember that every person of every color deserves love and respect. And let's remember that most policemen are good people. We should protest, but we should also do it in a way that we do not destroy others' lives or property. Well, how about that? And that's merely 5 months. I hope that next time I jump on a video like this, I can report better times. If you're feeling sad, I recommend you pray. It's what I do. Now, more than ever, I think God wants to help us. Singing off for now, this is Simply JC, out. One edit here, guys. I said that June just started, but I recorded this video a little a while ago, and yeah, so I was just letting you know this. It's probably gonna be like June or July or something when I post this. So yeah, sorry for the inconvenience.